Right. Our next session is very interesting. It's going to tell you more about how to use AI. Sorry, hold on. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen? Hello. All right. So our next session is hosted by Ibrahim Adepoju. Ibrahim is a pioneering entrepreneur and AI innovator. He's also best known as the founder of TIMS, a revolutionary AI-powered accounting platform. With a passion for harnessing technology to simplify financial management, Ibrahim has led teams to become a leading force in the global fintech landscape. Through his work, he aims to empower businesses, entrepreneurs, and cutting-edge AI solutions, transforming the way we manage their operations. Right. So thank you so much, Ibrahim. Are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. You can begin your session.
Okay, all right, you're welcome. Hello everyone. I want to be sure that I'm very audible. Please, can everyone hear me? All right,
Yes.
that's great. So I'm sharing my screen now. I would love to also know if everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, all right, cool. Thanks so much. Hello everyone. My name is Ibrahim Adepoju, and I'm the CEO of Times. As Times, what we're doing primarily is we want to simplify the complex accounting activity. We understand that accounting can be very complex. Every business needs accounting. I've not seen a business that would say accounting is not important to them. But for years now, when you check any finance department, there's still always one problem or the other. But it's a good timing with artificial intelligence, because one thing that's when we're to look at AI from the application layer, AI is making a lot of things possible. If we look at coding, now we have vibe coding, whereby even if you cannot write code, but if you can express what you have in your mind, you can get a software, at least the minimum viable version built for you. Before now, so if you are a business owner or you're a founder and you're freelancing, or you just need to prepare your book and get everything done right, you always be consigned. The least thing you are able to easily do is likely maybe generate an invoice or record your expenses, but any other thing outside of that might be quite complex for you. And if AI is able to make it possible for people to build software very fast, at least something meaningful, we also believe it's also possible when it comes to accounting, meaning that it's not every time you might need to hire an accountant immediately, or you yourself need to go and take a course in accounting. So far you know what is happening in your business. So far you can explain every transaction. You don't need to explain it in the form of accounting. It's not you are not interested in debit and credit. You can just say maybe you took a loan, or you borrow someone money, and or maybe you raise the funding from a company, from an investor. But all of these are not like sales. So you'll be like, how do I put this thing effectively in my book? So in this session, I'm going to be looking at mastering prompt engineering for business accounting with AI. And why are we looking at it from this angle? The primary objective is we want to demystify the complex accounting workflow. And I want people using their layman language, using their own language to get things done, so that when a professional accountant comes at the end of the day, they will be like, wow, you've done an amazing stuff. And you save yourself a lot of costs. You save yourself from tax liabilities. If you want to raise funding and you are requested to provide the balance sheet, you won't be worried. You just spend it out and get it across. So the name of the platform is Adam. Is the product that we built. So Adam is the AI agent. We see it like an accountant. We call it an AI accountant, because it's built, it's fine-tuned and trained to think like accounting, and it's also connected to an accounting system of its own, meaning that aside from you speaking to him, he's also able to do everything you're saying as if it's been done like a real accountant. So, but for you to communicate with this software, there's a very big need of knowing how to prompt effectively. And this is not just only in accounting alone. This is applicable in almost any solution. Even if you want to build a software with any of these AI agent platform, you will still find out that you really need to know how to effectively prompt those engines. So if we're familiar with prompt, like the way the other presenter was showing something on our GPT, most of the instructions he was putting were prompt. And prompt can keep on advancing based on what your objective is. And if you look at prompt engineering just like you being able to craft a very clear instruction. So when you're going deeper in the application of AI, maybe in mathematics, in STEM, in coding, in any form, a direct prompt might not be enough, meaning that you might be able to articulate what you have in mind effectively, because you don't want the AI to misinterpret what you are saying. So sometimes people who get the best result when it comes to using any of these AI tools out there are those people that are able to effectively prompt the AI. And prompting is the ability to provide a very clear instruction that the AI can understand. And with that, it's going to respond to you effectively. Now, for my use case today, I'm using accounting because that is the area where I'm building. If I'm building any other area, I would have used it as an example. But if there's anyone here who runs a business, owns this business, and feel like, I know I really want to do accounting, but it's just too much for me. Maybe when the time comes, probably the time might be now if you get to know these cheat sheets. So we know that accounting can be very complex. Every business needs it, but handling it is not that easy. But if AI can simplify it, it's better we know how to engage AI. Now, there will be a practical session, and I'll just be showing like 4 samples of this application. And if you look at the application of prompt engineering and accounting, the first area is the ability for you to train the AI agents. So when we're talking about ability for you to train the AI agents, every business is very dynamic. Let's take, for example, I run a digital marketing agency, and I may have another friend that's running maybe a software consulting agency. The pattern of my transaction is going to be different from this my colleague, because what my colleague is calling revenue might not be revenue from my end. The meaning of profit to someone that is doing delivery or helping someone to deliver a product, or Uber-like business. Sometimes you pay the driver before your own money now comes in. So when the advantage of AI is the ability to be able to train the agent. So if I want to work with any AI agent system and something that I want to personalize for my business, I will always be looking for a guideline that how can I don't want an AI that will just come in and just be doing things based on the way they've, maybe based on what he has online. No, I own my business. I have my dynamic way I'm running my business. And I really want you to understand my business, so that, because inability to train AI in most platforms makes it difficult for people to get quality results. So for example, I might have a bank statement like Nigerian bank statement, for example, or some other countries where it might be very complex. But either I own the business, I know that this is the bank I'm using, and I know the pattern there. So I don't want the AI to be stressing himself and be suggesting what is not necessary. I know you can be learning from what I'm doing, how I'm categorizing my transaction over time, but I can tell you that, anytime you see maybe my payment gateway transaction, or maybe you see any receipts, or you see any invoice I generate, and you see this particular keyword in it, just categorize it into this for me, or just do this for me. If I ask you a question like this, I'll prefer you to respond to me in this pattern. I can even tell you to respond to me in this language or in this format. So I have the ability to easily train the AI. And if you are to train an AI, you know that you also need to know how to write an effective prompt. Because if your prompting structure is not good, it means the AI would likely misunderstood or misunderstand your instruction. So the second aspect is going to be financial insight. So sometimes when as a user, I might be like, I might have a question. I'm not an accountant, but I don't know any terminologies, but I feel like I just want to confirm that, hey, Adam, are we broke? I just want to ask, are we broke? I don't know the accounting term they use, but I don't know how to ask you. I just understand. I know what I have in my mind. So I don't want to learn how to start using a software. I don't want to learn how to start using one accounting software, how to use the software. I just want to say what I have in mind. Is this possible for our business? What can we do? And you're able to give me a response just like human. I can see that, can you help me to analyze this? Or someone just asked me that, hey, what is your company performance over this period of time? Okay, I'm just go to my phone and ask Adam, like, please, can you tell me? I don't understand the language this person is speaking. And it's going to give me the response in a way that I can effectively understand and present, meaning that it has bridged the gap between a business and their financial information. So another thing is journal entry. So in accounting, there's something that they call debit, credit. It's one of the way they pass transaction into the system. Even if you generate an invoice, something is being debited or credited behind the scene. Same thing in your bank. But if I'm not an accountant, I don't know this. So I don't expect anyone to tell me there are some transactions that are not really a sales and they're not an expense. Some transactions are like maybe an asset, some are like maybe a liability, some are maybe a form of equity, and I want to record them. So I don't know accounting. It means I will not know how to effectively position this entry. But if I'm able to explain myself that, okay, last year we raised this amount of fund from this particular organization, this is the total amount, and the money was paid into this particular bank. Can you just help me to enter this information? So I'm leaving the AI to be the one to know where to debit, where to credit. And if it's going to prepare my financial statements, I'm leaving the AI to know how to prepare that. So the other part is going to be the data cleaning and upload. Before now, when we are using softwares and it's more of maybe an analytical platform or platform where you need to bring in data, you get to see the platform having like a CSV template where they'll tell you to download that template. And then you look at your data and you start cleaning your data and structure it to be exactly in the same format with that data. Now, after you've done that, you go back to the system and upload your data. When you upload your data, the system might reject it and tell you that, oh, this number is not a number. We are not expecting a test here. We're expecting a number here. We are not expecting. So a lot of nuances whereby when we're using software, most time, want to bring in data into the system, we have to go back and do some cleaning ourselves and the like. And the interesting thing is like this system themselves know what they're expecting. Now, the solution knows what it's expecting from me, but I need to now find a way to learn how to fit my information to effectively enter the system. But with AI make it possible for me. So far, the information in my data aligns. So far, there are parameters that aligns with the information that is expected on the system. It means with prompt engineering done by the existing system, or even prompt engineering that have been used to train the AI agent on its own, I can just send my data, whether structured or unstructured, into it. And so far it knows that, okay, for me to capture a bank transaction or for me to upload your bank statement, I need the structure of the date, the narration, the debit amount, the credit amount, the balance left. Or for me to import maybe a journal, I need to know what account to debit and that. So I don't need to be the one disturbing myself. I can just bring out this is my bank statement. I don't care the bank, I don't care the country, I don't care the region. Hey man, this is my bank statement. I just upload it to the system and system do the needful. So you save me the stress of being the one cleaning data. Those age are long gone. So these are some of the things that AI is making effective for us. And so I will just be showing some example in the next slide of some of these use cases. So let's just look at how to now, before we now start writing some prompts, let's look at some cheat sheets that we always use to effectively develop when you're crafting an effective prompt or efficient prompt for accuracy. The first thing most of the time is that we expect, maybe over time, we always expect AIs to be like a super intelligent, something that knows everything, that knows it all. And we just feel like if I can give you a big aperture information, you should be able to come up with an enormous information for me, which is always possible. But what is always the problem here is always the accuracy. So if someone who crafts an effective prompt for AI and someone who just sends some random, not well structured information, one person will get more value than the other, and one person will get more accuracy than the other. Because you're giving an unstructured or an information that is not well articulated, you're adding more to the stress of the AI. Or if you're the one that have crafted it effectively, then it makes a lot of sense. So the first thing I always try to do is, like, if I'm using a platform like ChatGPT, for example, a platform that is like a raw model on its own, yet to be fine-tuned or processed for an application level like accounting like this, I can start by defining a position like let's assume you're a professional digital marketer. But in the case of an application level platform, maybe it's an AI for digital marketing, an AI for accounting, an AI for social, any form, then I might need to skip that level because the AI already knows who he is. So the objective is me. What I need to do now is to state my objective. Okay, oh, I need to do this. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. You must be able to specify and state it clearly that this is what you want to do. And once you state what you want to do, this makes it possible for the AI to easily capture, and understand your intent. Because the way AI agent works is like they use like a tree, a kind of chain, whereby it's looking for each agent, each sub agent is the right person to capture to process to deal with your work. So if I upload an expense like a receipt to the system, it needs to understand that this is a receipt, and it needs to know that you have to send this to an agent that is good with expense management. But if I upload a bank statement, then it needs to understand this is a bank statement and send it to a layer that's already fit so that it won't go through a lot of circle easily. So objective is very important. Then for accounting, there's something we call double entry. Double entry means that for every transaction, there's always two form of entry. For example, if you sell a product, you are selling a product, that is the first entry. But when the customer pays you, that is another form of entry. If the customer do not pay you, that is still another form of entry. When you buy something from a vendor, when you purchase something, that is an entry. I purchased this. But when you pay the vendor also, that is another form of entry. So at the point, most of the time, the best example to do this is what you do, what you buy, what you sell, and how you pay. So I can just use that as a layman example of how double entry works. So meaning that when I'm crafting my prompt for an AI, when I'm keeping my accounting record, it's always good for me to always be able to state my double entry clearly. If I don't, the AI is still smart enough to pick some information based on my previous activity. But for me to just keep in control, if I've not trained it before, I need to always speculate that this might be different for different application layer platform. And then the other part is emphasis and variables. So if you need it to use a particular bank, let's say you have a bank like maybe the Bank of America or the Guarantee Trust Bank in Nigeria, you have to specify the name. You could have said I use my most regular bank. It's not a problem, it's fine. It can. It's my understand your most regular bank, but behind the scene, maybe you have more than one bank that are your regular bank. Meaning that every time you are using that is always fluctuating the one to use. But you have to be precise, and say that okay, GT Bank. You can just call it something that will let you know that this is the bank I want to put my transaction into. This is the name of the customer. This is the name of the vendor. This is what state the name effectively, so as to enhance the accuracy. Then the other part is also to be clear with your expected result. At the end of the day, what do you want to achieve? Do you want him to send that invoice that you just generated to your customer? Do you want to download the statement that is generating for you? Do you want to see some information at the end of the day? Like maybe you just capture this information for me. Can I see the account you are sending it to? Can I see a report after that? Always let the AI know your results, because sometimes people blame AI for some things like, oh, I was expecting this information, but did you tell the AI this is the outcome you're expecting? Because if you don't, it will likely just look for the best outcome of your interest. And in most cases, it might not be the right thing. That's why sometimes platform at the application level always have the like and dislike, which is what they use to track the response of the AI and keep using it to fine tune whether it's giving the right information. So, but sometimes if I need to get things done, I might not have the time to start giving the like and the unlike button for them to work on it. So either way, it's, as I said, it's just for me to get my results without depending solely on the AI. So let's just explore some practical examples by showing a demo of the Adam platform and how prompting is being used to interact with it from the accounting point of view. But I really don't know if anyone has a question before I move to that to the second session, which is the demo.
Hey, Ibrahim, I think you can go ahead.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So I'll be sharing my other screen now. All right, let me know if everyone can see the new page I'm sharing now clearly.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So the application layer of most of the AI agents is something that is quite similar at the moment, more with a kind of common user interface, whereby the primary thing is that we don't you don't want people to start learning how to use the software, but we just want it to just see what you have in mind. We want you to be able to just communicate. This is what I'm thinking, and this is what I have in mind. I can easily just come straight to a system and ask the AI that what is my financial strength like, let's just say this year. So the reason why I put this here is just to find a way to put emphasis, because sometimes when I'm generating a report, or when I'm getting an information from an analytical platform, it's always a periodic kind of information. But if I did not put a period, I want it to be the one to just randomly go and bring information maybe over time. So when I send this now, what is happening here is like my objective is to get my financial strength, and my emphasis is the period. And now it's left for the AI agents to be the one to look for which appropriate information inside my own business data that would be the best fit to respond to this particular question. Because right now, I want to know my financial strength, and its objective is to provide this information, provide me this information in the most effective way. So right now, I've asked the question. The next thing is doing is to first set up all my information, and bring the response out for me. So let me just give these some seconds for me to load out the service. All right, so yeah, so this booted. All right, yeah, 1 minute, please. Just setting up this. All right, good. So now, when I ask for what is my financial strength, it's telling me that my financial strength for 2025, that this is the total asset of my business, this is the precious value, this is the increase. So it's giving most information, and it's always come at the end of this with a recommendation that, okay, this is what I'm expecting. It may ask me that, okay, if you would like to see your cash flow metrics and every other thing. Now, the other part that is very interesting is ability to train the AI. So on this platform, for example, I have a place where I can train the AI. So if I want to train the AI has a lot of sub-agents where it is processing your information. One of the agents is like the revenue agent. So there's an agent that is managing your business revenue for you. Anytime you are saying you're keeping any form of record, there's a particular agent. So this interface makes it possible for you to come. So I can look at my banking manager now, and I can edit it and set an instruction that anytime you see a debit transaction with a keyword of food or food related information, you should record them into an account called office refreshment. I can add as many as possible, because one thing I want to do is when I sign up on a platform like this and you see that it's an AI agent that works autonomously, I just want to come down here and set a lot of instruction of train that these are the things I would have been doing manually. But setting this instruction means I must be good with prompting. So that's why I said, so sometimes you see there's also some things like bold. All of these stuffs like bold, like using a next line, a bullet, are very important when you are also communicating with most of these LLM, because they listen to the markup, they understand the markup structure very well. But platform like this, when you use your bold, you use your bullet, you use your italic, any form of styling behind the scene, we know how we process it effectively with the AI. So I can always save my instruction. Now, if I come down here and I say that, let's take, for example, I have a bank transaction and I want to bring a new bank transaction into my system. So it could be a document that I'm uploading via my attachments. But for now, I'll just try to enter a sample prompt and just say that, let's take, for example, all right, let me see. Okay, let me just say that let me just say date is today. And I will just say the type of transaction is a debit. This could be a data coming from a bank, so it can be of any structure. So I can just put a narration. I can just say maybe we bought drinks and let me say biscuits and food stuffs for office meeting. Then I just come down to the next line. I've already stated the date that this is a debit. So I might just come down here and see maybe the balance left is maybe 5,500,000. Let me just use Naira. And I can say the amount that we spend is maybe 30,000 Naira. And now having this information here, and I send this. So now what I'm doing here is like I'm interacting with the system by just articulating my information and sending it to it. Now it's responding, it has created the transaction for me using the today's date. I did not state today's date, I just said today, but it gets to understand today and knows the best way to format it in the system. Now the next thing it does now is like it tends to categorize the transaction to office refreshment because I've already trained it in the system that anywhere you see information about food or anything that is related to food on my system, send them to my office refreshment account when categorizing my transaction. So this could be any form. So now if at the end of the day, I'm able to maybe connect my bank to the system or I send an email. So also the AI agents also always have an email address whereby sometimes if I'm just somewhere and I want to send an email to the AI because I don't want to always be logging into a software. So I can know the email of this AI that is part of our team. You can only just send the email that, hey, guy, we just do this, take note of this for us. And doing that also means I'm going to write a prompt. I'm going to provide an instruction. And based on what I'm sending to him, he will know whether I'm meant to bring it to my expenses, whether I'm meant to bring it. So if you look at my chart of accounts now, which is like the way I categorize all my transaction. So if I come to expenses, I will see that it has created a particular expenses category called office refreshment, which was not there before. And it has recorded the transaction that I just performed now. So another example is manual journals. Manual journals in accounting is quite advanced. It's only accountant that always get to know how to, do this effectively. But I personally, I don't know this. I just come down here. Someone just told me that, oh, any transaction that is not a sales or an expense, you can just go to your journal and create it. I was okay, no problem. I come here. What he's just expecting me to do is say my mind. That I would just say on the last day, I can say on the last day of February 2025, we secured an investment of 5 million naira. So I'll call it an equity because there could be any form. So I want to state it clearly. Okay, we secured an equity investment of 5 million naira from, let me just say investor, or let me just say Investoria Inc. And the money was paid into our Sparkle bank account. So now I've put my double entry in mind because I state the days that a transaction occur. I get to let you know this is what really happened. We raise the money for investment, and this is the amount that we raise, and this is the person we raise it from. This is the date we raise it, and this is the account where they pay the money into. So, and the moment I do that and I send this. Now, one thing you observe here is like I did not say anything about debit, credit, or any of these accounting terms because I don't know them and I'm not interested in them. So right now it has created a journal entry for me. You see that it's used the 28th of February 2025, which is the last day of the period. And it states the equity investment from Investoria Inc. Now, if I check the entry that happens here, you will take note that I have a bank called Sparkle. I not call the full name as Sparkle Microfinance. I just call Sparkle Bank. But it knows that this is meant to be my Sparkle Microfinance Bank. And then it knows that in accounting, this must be on the debit side. Then common stock, which is the equity, it knows this must be on the credit side. And it has already passed that entry for me. Now, if at the end of the day, I come to ask Adam and I say that, please generate my balance sheet as of this year end for me. So now I'm telling him to generate because I know some of this information. I might not even know what a balance sheet is. I can ask him, what is the balance sheet, So, but I just want him to generate the balance sheet for him. Maybe someone asked me that, can we get your balance sheet? Can we see your income statement? Like, I really don't want to be going to there are a lot of accounting software out there. You need to learn how to use them. You need to go through, a lot of back and forth. And but because I'm not an accountant, I'm just someone running a business. I want to ensure that I'm doing the right accounting. So if you look at my screen now, you see that it has responded and told me that, okay, here's your balance sheet as of December 31st, 2025. So this is my current asset. If I come to my common stock, I will see that 5 million naira in my common stock, meaning that everything I'm doing in his memory are all interconnected within a system. So there was a time I also spent 30,000 naira on refreshment. So if I want to see that I know that is always in the income statement, which is the income and expense. I can say, okay, generate my income statement for the same period, as above. So the reason why I put above again is sometimes when we're using a conversation layer, it's also good to always reference something. It's either you reference the above, you reference below, or you reference part of the conversation. So now it has generated my income statement for December 2025, which is a long time. So let me just tell you to generate the income statement for this month. So for this month, I think the transaction occurred in this month because the sales are happening in this month. So so let me request for that. So what I'm trying to do here is that okay, so let me check. So as it's doing this, also a table is being created for me. And if I'm to check my table of income statements, and I check, let me see, I think I said this month. Okay, let me see whether I use this month for that. So what I'm looking for was a particular office refreshment expenses, which is this one. So everything I'm doing are all interconnected. A table is being created for me. And the last but not the least part is dashboard. So sometimes we know that the way softwares are like before now is that when you go to a software, you would have met a dashboard. The dashboard has already been created for you. But now with generative AI, I can choose the type of dashboard I want. So I can tell the AI that create a dashboard for me to be able to track my cash balances, any form of cash balance that I have, and also my business profitability. So my business profitability. I can be precise. If I'm a startup, I can say I need to know my runway also. I need to know my runway. How long do we even have to survive? And our burn rates. How much are we even burning? Things that investors always ask. I might not get this anywhere, but I know that you are an AI agent. I've been interacting with you. You are interacting with my business information. So I should be able to tell you to do anything for me. So by putting a prompt stating it, okay, create a dashboard, that is my objective. I want to track this information. Those are the end goal, things that I want to do to track at the end of the day. So it's going to set up the page. It's going to design a page, a dashboard, which will be part of the dashboard that I will going to be using for my own business. Let me just give it like some few seconds to set up the page. So it's a page that will just be built for me inside the app. And now I have a dashboard, and the dashboard is showing me this is my cash balance, this is my net profit, this is my runway, this is the total cash that goes out of my business. I can see a chart of how I'm earning. I can check this across period. I can filter it. So I can create as many form of dashboard as I need based on what form of information I need on the system, meaning that I'm not limited. So these are some of the application layer of AI, and this is from the accounting perspective. And one thing you would observe from here is that I'm using an accounting software. If you try to download or find access on any other accounting software, you will first land on the platform and be concerned that how do I use this platform? But for this platform, you can just start anything from this page and you start building how you want your software to look like. So this is just one of the example of one of the millions of application of generative AI, in every profession, and this is from the accounting point of view. Thanks so much, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim.